Good evening, folks. 30 seconds to showtime. Grab your seat, leave your drinks to the bar. Hold your breath, put your hands together. We present Stanford Bay's finest star, who has danced with the Mariner Guinea, who has dined with the Queen of Vermont. We trace the voyages of Sinbad, corresponded with the menu of Count of Vache. C'est pas même chose que la vache qui rit. Le vache pour un mon ami.
And hello, welcome to the show. It's nice and all right, my name is Geoff with the G. This is the G Spots, and we're having some fun here, and I'm having some fun right here with the Monsters of Schlock coming all the way from America's Hat, Canada. We've got Sweet Pepper,
and
Clove
just
Pack,
like a hat,
and just like a dope hat, yeah. We've got the Sweet Pepper, Clove Pack, and the great ore box right here.
Hello, buddy.
Actually, broadcast. I've got Pepper to the right of me, stage right of me, and then Orbex, you're down below.
My camera's reversed, so I don't know what stage right or stage left that means. Off to a strong start. So, hello, everybody out there, internet land.
Yes, that's how it works. Because you know.
Hey, Pepper, can I hand Pepper my hat? Does that work, or we're not in this?
Yeah, well, it's above you, but the other way, other side. It doesn't work very well at with three people.
And that's the quality of entertainment that you could used to be able to see at any of our live shows across the world.
Yeah, I was trying to get Tomato James Taylor to come part of the show, but he's really trying to catch up with all of his work, so he really couldn't make it. So.
He's a busy man. Busy man.
Yeah, he's a busy man. I mean,
for a tomato.
Yeah, it's true. So, how are you guys doing? It's been a minute since we talked to each other. I mean, it feels like ages ago, but really it was like 3 months ago. But it feels like 2 years.
Well, the weirdest thing, the last time we saw you in person, yesterday, Orbex and I finally were in the same room together for the first time since New Orleans.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was literally that. Yeah, so the last time we were all together, we were the harbingers of COVID, I believe.
That's what I was told. Yeah, I had Scabies the Clown on here, and he goes, yeah, you guys were like the last people that were doing anything on New Orleans before we shut it down. I go,
yeah, so we were at the Southern Sideshow Hootenanny.
Yeah.
That was the weekend of, what, March 6th, 7th?
Yeah, it was the first full weekend.
And, we had the whole weekend together, and as we got on the airplanes home, it was weird because there were people starting to wear masks on the airplanes home, and I think they literally shut the border behind us when we landed and walked into Toronto.
Well, yeah, it's been a crazy time. This is what I've been doing. Let's talk about what you guys have been doing. What have you guys been up to? Some of the obvious stuff is I know you guys are starting doing a podcast.
We have.
Yeah.
Since literally, what have we been doing? Basically, we spent the first month of this just getting emails every day about what shows weren't going to happen the rest of the year.
Cancel.
Yeah.
Oh, festival? Biggest festival in Ireland? Gone. Biggest chance to do shows in the United States? Gone. Everything just slammed right down. Oh, our reoccurring gig that we've had for the last 13 years? Gone. But we tried to do some other stuff. You know, we started a podcast, which is actually kind of taking an interesting form where we're basically like, look, we're just sitting at home now, stuck, not doing anything, and guess who else is? Every other single entertainer that we know. So it's basically a phone call where we just talk to other entertainers and see what they're doing and what the future looks like for their entertainment life post-COVID. So
that's basically what this is, yeah.
Yeah, so we talk to people into our sideshow or music who are entertainers, who are comedians, magicians, and just basically reach out to all the friends that we know for a chat and to feel better actually getting to talk to somebody that we know and love and see what they're doing. And bust balls and share stories along the way.
Yeah, that's kind of the point of all this, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a successful version of what this is.
Yes, that's very, very true. That's not an untrue statement.
No, but I mean, though, it's like, you know, going forward, you're seeing that everybody's having to reinvent the way that they do stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're just like everybody else trying. For those people who don't know about us who've been watching the stream, Pepper and I do the greatest single comedy sideshow act in the world. It's called the Monsters of Schlock. We've been doing it now for 15 years. Yeah, I've been doing sideshow myself for 20. Yeah, so we've been touring the world for the last
15 years for the last like 3 or 4. So
3 or 4 years. Yeah, so I'm probably getting closer to 20 at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we've been touring the world doing that. We have 26 Guinness World Records. We've been kind of finally getting to it. We by no means does anybody know who we are. We've carved out this really nice kind of niche for ourselves within sideshow as journeyman entertainers who can make a living kind of just getting to do our gig all over the world.
It's like, and that being said, I'm really proud of the fact that we have done it just from doing our own thing. Like, you know, we didn't start out and be like, oh, Joe always be like, oh, you know, put you on the show, or, you know, Brothers Grimm or Hell's a Poppin' or any of that. It's just that we literally just went out and fucking forged our own path. And that's,
and we did something pretty unique because up here when we started, especially like 15 years ago, there was no real Canadian sideshow. Well, I mean, there was no Canadian sideshow scene to speak of. I mean, the only other entertainers at that time in Canada doing sideshow were Ryan and Amber. And so we, out of necessity, basically had to write a 90-minute show. Mm-hmm. So we had to create a 90-minute, 2-hour show that we could tour with. And, you know, what we've learned since then is that most people just work on doing a 10-minute act and work with other groups and get booked on variety shows and burlesque shows and, you know, group shows. Whereas for us to make a living, we had to just come up with a way to write and create our own 2-hour-long show and tour with that, which it turns out is fairly unique, but for us was just a thing that we had to do out of necessity to get to be able to tour.
That's a lot like with comedians. That's basically they while they do the 10-minute sets, they're always making sure to build and create that hour.
And that's a huge thing, you know. It's our stuff can be kind of broken into 15, 20-minute segments that we also use to do shorter stuff with as well. But,
yeah.
I mean, with Pepper's got, you know, at this point several bands. At the time was touring with legendary Klopex. And I'd open for them, and we kind of work off in between each other. And then that's how we started kind of trying to work together. And then he joined my bigger troupe, and we eventually just weeded that down to just a 2-man act. But, you know, I'm not sure the whole point of this, but in the end, you know, when I started talking about ourselves, I meant to point out how awesome we were and incredible and probably the best in the world at doing it, whatever it is that we do. And since I've kind of lost track of why I started the conversation, I guess I'll just wrap it back around and bring it back to that.
No, that's fair. No, you guys are amazing. You are legit, like some of my. Well, you're my favorite people in general. It has nothing to do with sideshow. But no, you guys always kill. When I saw you guys last year we met last year for the first time at the Hootenanny, and you guys killed that year and did well. And we get to hang out and chat with it.
That Hootenanny thing was an amazing thing for us because we didn't realize that so many of the American sideshow performers had seen us through the years, like on video or on YouTube or through Guinness books and stuff like that, because we're kind of isolated, not only up here, but also in what we do, you know? It's just Pepper and I, and you know, like anybody else, when you're on tour, you're basically just hopping from town to town to town to town to town. There's not much time to meet or to socialize, right? So it was an amazing thing to go down there to the Hoot and actually get this feedback of people who were like, I've been waiting to see you guys perform for years now.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend that basically was idolizing, obsessing about you, Chris Broken, and I don't know if he's watching yet. I think
he's
he would.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know Chris. Like he talked about you guys for years, and so I know he was really keen to see you guys that year. And
it was our first trip down there was incredibly humbling. Like we couldn't. You know, we're not sappy, we're sentimental kind of guys, but we were both pretty choked up over the amount of people that were like, oh, I got into this because of you guys. Like, I can't believe I'm going to see you guys. And it's like, what's going on here?
We're just some dudes.
And the worst part is they go and they actually watch our show and then realize that in 45 minutes we do like 3 stunts and just tell everybody else to stop the entire time.
Yeah.
It's not easy to write a 2-hour show when there's really nothing in it except for us just busting everybody's balls.
Well, that's the best. I don't remember saying like it's not about how many stunts you do; it's about how you do them. So if you can just do one really well and but you can stretch it out by busting people's balls for 15 minutes and spend the last 3 doing the actual bit, people are gonna think you like did the bit for like 20 minutes when really it's just like 3 minutes. And that's what I like you guys. That's what you guys did a lot of. Really, you didn't do machine gun anything.
Well, I mean, I think part of what we do is that comedy is a big part of our act, but you know, so much of what I feel is an issue that happens in sideshow, like right across the board, every country, every entertainer every scene that you see doing sideshow, is that you'll get people in that scene who they think the act is it. So they go out, they put a mousetrap on the tongue, they do blockhead, do this whole thing, and they'll do 6 things in 10 minutes, and they might do them well. They might do the stunt very good, but there's no connection with an audience. Yeah. And to be a circus entertainer or a sideshow entertainer, the most important part of all that is the entertainment part of it. You have to connect with an audience, and what we try to do is to create a rapport, to talk to an audience, to get to know them, even if it's just through the guys that are making fun of them and having a good time. But for years and years, the whole show is based on the idea of me just trying to make Pepper laugh. And if we could get both of us laughing on stage, it just made everybody laugh in the room.
Oh, yeah. That's
the most important thing.
There's a handful of stunts in sideshow, right? Like there's really, there's only so many things you can physically do as a stunt or a trick. So it's all about presentation, because like how many people drop swords? Tons, right? But it's like some are entertaining, some are just guys falling on a sword. It's all about that presentation. Presentation is the most important thing, and that's something you can't teach. Anybody can learn all these tricks, but it takes a certain kind of entertainer to go out and be able to present it as an actual entertaining piece, not just like walk out, 30 seconds, done.
Yeah.
But if you can walk out, make 10 minutes of that and engage a crowd, then that's something.
I agree. That's
it's a really vital thing, and I think it's something that I see getting lost now in this age of Instagram clips as being what gets you booked. One of the things when we started touring 15 years ago that didn't exist was the YouTube star or the Instagram celebrity. And now, we started to see it kind of grow when we were out on the road. You'd see these random bookings in the bar for the next day of somebody you'd never heard of, or like 2 days later that you just missed in town, and people would be like, oh yeah, he's got all these hits on YouTube. We're like, well, what's YouTube? I don't even know what that is. And, now you see that these people getting booked for gigs and they don't have an act. Right? They've got a 80,000 followers, but they've got 4 minutes of material or an act. And as guys who have made a living out of being working entertainers, being journeyman entertainers, it's really something that I guess it grinds my gears, but at the same time, it's like I'd like to see these people create some showmanship and create some entertainment around what they're doing. Because in the end, it just turns people off to live entertainment.
Yeah. No, it's... music had that a few years ago really bad with the whole SoundCloud revolution with at least here like the whole SoundCloud rappers and all that stuff down here. I don't know how much that impacted Canada.
Oh, we have rap up here.
Oh, really? Do you know? Okay, so rap. Let me explain what rap is. No, you guys had snow. I know there was snow. Was from that.
We've been letting your boom boom down for years, dude.
Yeah. That's right. Really fun story about Snow of all things. When he was getting big, he went to Houston to play some free concert in the park sort of thing. He got chased off the stage by a bunch of random audience members and chased across the park. Got grabbed and thrown into a fountain, I believe. It was just one of those just.
It's very Canadian of him to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what have we been doing in the time off? We started a podcast. We've been trying to do science videos. We do a science kids show that we've been trying to keep up with.
Oh no, it's amazing. I watch the science stuff. I think it's amazing. I love it, and I put the make
Science
sure
is great.
I put the little logo there for you guys so people can see that Orbex and Pepper do science, and Orbex and Pepper do a podcast. Orbex and yeah, it's right there. Orbex and Pepper do Dallas at some point. I don't know. I'm sure the porn's coming.
We're coming down there, man. As soon as we can come down to Texas, please let's make this happen.
We'll make it work, man. We'll do the tour of Texas, and we'll get really weird. And so I'll load you guys up the minivan. We'll bring up Scabs from Houston.
Right.
We'll grab Jamie Slash. Pardon me?
When we're talking Texas, let's shout out the Lubbock Science Spectrum.
Yeah, goddamn right. That was great. They put us up, and we had a good day there. We shot some great footage, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a great science center.
Really
Yeah, well, I guess with Texas Tech, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
they're a big science. They're weirdly a big science school in a really, really horrid town. But
our only
place Texas Tech
was Lubbock at Texas Tech. So we had a lovely 3 or 4 days in Lubbock.
Yeah.
It was
like I want to actually experience. I've been in love with Texas ever since I was a kid, and I haven't experienced it yet. So I want to come down and rage.
That's we'll do. Yeah, definitely. Whenever things open up, because that's the thing I was talking about before we got started. Was like me making sure I get my passport to make my way up to Canada to rock out Canadian style, and we'll bring you guys down to Texas, and we'll tour Texas and get really weird with it, and I'll load up my minivan with everybody. And pardon me?
Why wait? If you just go out in public right now, people are acting like there's not even a pandemic going on. So
that's
you might as
true.
well just go do it, right? If we all believe that there isn't a disease, then there isn't one, right?
That's true.
Science has taught me anything. It's that listen to what people think they know about stuff. That's the important thing.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to be holding the Texas Republican Convention next month, and they are not it's gonna be indoors, something like 2,000 or 3,000 people, which right now they're saying less than 100 people outdoors, and then they're not going to require masks to go to the Republican Convention, and so I'm going, oh, that is not dope.
No.
That is not. That's in here. I'm going. I live in Austin now, which is really it's all basically there's no in between. It's all really left or right. I mean, Alex Jones from InfoWars lives here in Austin somewhere. Yeah. And but then on the other side we got Willie Nelson and Matthew McConaughey and all this other stuff. So it's one of those weird kind of, and it's all there's nothing in the middle. It's one or the other.
Well, shout out Willie Nelson if you're watching this right now. I'm a big fan, and I would like you to come to our show when we come down there. Thank you very much.
I'll do what
Willie
I can.
Nelson 2020.
Can't say no to the redheaded stranger.
That's right. I'll see what I can do. I weirdly enough, as I do have some ties in music, not many, but I might be able to make that work. I don't know.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Let's see what else is going on. I know Orbex, you have to cut out soon, so that's why we're doing we're getting all the plugs out of the way, so that way me and Pepper can just bullshit for however long afterwards.
Let's start a podcast. We just started out, and you know what? I'm going to give the scoop on this Twitch channel.
Okay.
Our second episode, which drops Monday at midnight, or maybe at 7:30 Monday night, or whenever,
or Tuesday.
It drops.
Tuesday at some point, but it'll have to drop Monday because Wednesday is the holiday up here. We're going to have a conversation with the living sideshow legend himself, good friend of ours for the last 20 years. We're actually going to chat with the Lizard Man.
Oh, that's cool. He lives out this way. He lives.
Speaking of Texas.
So yeah, he lives here in Austin. Actually, a lot.
We have a nice chat. We've known Lizard now for legitimately 20 years. When I was getting into Sideshow 20 years ago, he was one of the only people that back in the old listserv forum days that I reached out to who actually responded with helpful information.
Oh.
And since then, he's always been a pal. So we chat with him and we talk sideshow and what the fuck's going on in the world. And yeah,
that's
so
amazing.
That's
cool.
No, Max and Pepper do a podcast. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. It's called now. I guess.
It is. I'm subscribed, and it's good. It's good. I enjoy it, so I have a good time listening to it. But it's one of those. Oh yeah, I support it anyway. It's because subscriber guys. But no, it's a really fun listen. So I do recommend everybody who's watching this. Drama Freak 83. If you're on there, make sure you subscribe to that. Hot Todd Lincoln, do that as well, because Hot Todd Lincoln's on the chat.
Nice.
And then whoever else. Please do so. Also, make sure you guys check out I took down the crawl. Make sure you go to monstersofschlock.com and check out all their other stuff going on. YouTube has a ton of stuff. It gets really, if you like weird stuff that's happened. That's Hot Todd goes, I waved as well, like you could see me.
Classic Hot Todd.
That is classic Hot Todd.
If you want to watch one fat and one skinny old man make fun of each other and pretend to be cool, you could totally go to any of those things and watch us do it.
That's fair. I do it all the time, to be fair, because it's one of those, what else am I going to be doing? It's not like I go out, so.
Yeah, but there's lots of stuff. Like I said, we've been doing stuff for 20 years now, so in terms of content.
Oh, no, it's amazing. I've been pouring slowly through all you guys' like, all the latest stuff you do with like the Guinness Book World Record stuff, and it's crazy.
It was funny, I reposted to our Facebook page, I guess maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, one of the Italian TV shows we did in like 2012 or something.
Yeah.
It was the double hook one.
Oh yeah.
So we Pepper and I set records, the Guinness World Records for the heaviest weight lifted from a hook through the cheeks. So like and like through the forehead.
Oh, the forehead one was gnarly.
Italian television to all these disgusted Italians.
Oh yeah, those are.
It's just us not understanding what's going on with like a thing in our ear, trying to hear translators. And then, Pepper's exactly right. The rest of the crowd is just literally like, but it was a lot of fun.
So somebody asked in the chat, like, what are some of your world records? Like, one of those is the lifting the weights. I know, Pepper, do you still have the mouse traps on tongue? Is that still yours?
I do. I have the most traps set off on the human tongue in 1 minute. I think I've held it 4 times, maybe 5, and it's up to 58 in a minute, I think.
58? Okay. I get some training to do. Okay.
That was our first record that we ever set, which was, we were pushing Guinness for years to try to get involved with doing something. And they finally approved a record for us, and it was the mousetrap one. And it was so amazing to watch Pepper do it, and it kind of was our entree into like the world of Guinness World Records, which we've since become unremovable from.
Well, once you have, no
matter how much you try to get rid of us, we're still there.
Well, when you're at 26, it's really hard to get rid of them all. So.
Yeah, it's hard to come up with new ideas for once.
A lot of our ideas are too dangerous.
Yeah. The last one I did, I got run over by.
The bikes.
70 motorcycles.
Yeah, the motorcycle one was crazy because like you sent me. I did for like one of the early Devil's Hours was you sent me the sizzle reel. And that was on the sizzle reel, so yeah.
Yeah, it was 70 motorcycles while I was on a bed of nails in like 1 minute and 40 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
That was really scary. Because we met with the riding team like that day, and we made them do like practice runs, doing the ramp, jumping over where the nail bed would be. And like 2 or 3 of them bailed their bikes doing the jumps, and we're like, okay, so not those. You're out. I'm not trying to be a diva here, but you probably shouldn't be jumping over me. And we realized in retrospect, watching the videos, that my neck was like laying right over like the bed of nails, like right there. And so like if had a bike just slipped and hit me in the head, it probably just would have driven the back of my neck right through the bed of nails and killed me right then. or even worse, not killed me.
Oh, that would have been much worse, I think. Yeah. And then I just watched the truck pull. That was pretty cool.
Oh, that was my first record. That was
Yeah.
pretty. It still stands too. It was I pulled a 9,000-pound truck for 111.7 meters, or like 330 feet.
Yeah, for those who asking what the truck pull is, like he actually was, he had actually he like suspension hooks, shark hooks, in his back. Was it two? Was it just two?
Yeah.
Just
Yep,
two
just-
shark hooks, like
it's
just
like
in his. Yeah, no, they're. Yeah, no, it's.
Well,
And
actually,
then,
you know what? I've got some of Jave's versions of those hooks. I'll be right back.
all right, cool.
But that day that he did that record, though, it was. We woke up and just the setting was beautiful. The weather was perfect.
Oh man. So yes, those were in his back for people watching. And now his nose.
So freaky.
You're gross, dude. Gross.
Yeah. No, it was amazing. I was actually watching that. It was literally, it's what I was watching that the other day because I was just. It was crazy because you were like at some fair park or something like that because there were a bunch of weird clowns there too. I remember saying watching thing.
Well, that's the best part was the truck was full of clowns to make the wait. So
Yeah,
it
just-
was at our regular theme park gig at the P&E in Vancouver.
Oh, okay. Because
It was like this gorgeous, epic, like autumn day. I think it was like October 25th, I think, and right before Halloween. And it took me. There was a slight incline at the end because. So for it to count as a record, it has to be at least flat or inclined. At no point can it dip down because you're pulling a truck, right?
Yeah.
So the only space that we had, the previous record was like 107 meters or something. So I just beat it, but it took me 3 minutes to pull the first pull the first 100 meters, and 3 more minutes to pull the last 10 meters. So, and I was like,
It was the wheels stop, the record's cut. So
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
to keep the wheels moving, and it was grueling to see him. In the video, you can see him screaming.
Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, it's like it's.
Keep that fucking truck moving! Like I'm just
And
screaming.
I
At
actually
him.
tore my bicep doing it because you could do the rope, the hand over hand of the rope. So I actually ripped my bicep while I was pulling that last 3
Oh
minutes.
man.
And but it was all right. It was worth it in the end. I couldn't lift my arm above like this for like 5 years, but like I
Fine.
totally got the night off. I didn't have to do shows then.
Hey, there
and
you go.
and I actually made it into the kids' little foil book, Guinness World Records for like superheroes.
Oh
So
wow.
it's like Guinness World Records Superhuman Humans, and I'm like in that book as like a superhero for kids.
Oh,
I was
there you
like, that's
go.
fucking cool, right?
They legit put like our goriest record.
I know, right? Because like watching the end of the video, your back is
But
just
It's
drenched
a
in
pretty
blood.
good photo. Our photographer Six Langman took that picture, and it's just like epic of like me like brooding pulling this thing, and the truck behind me, it's all clowns sitting in the truck. It's amazing.
And Jeff, I don't know if you've seen, we had one, we were trying to pitch, want to do another motorcycle stunt, but we couldn't get Guinness to approve this one, but we did.
yeah.
Did you see when we held the motorcycle in place with hooks and chains?
No, I didn't see that one. I'll definitely check. I'll track that one down because.
So we did hooks from the arms to the back of a bike, and then we had the bike try to take off and held it in place for like 15 seconds.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
So then I had a great idea. It's like, okay, so, it's like, let's do a burnout and then let it out and see if we can hold it. I'm like, so, it might rip out, or it might just drag us to the ground and, drag us 10, 15 feet before it tears out of our arms or whatnot. So I'm like, so if it does drag us to the ground and drag us a ways, like we might as well put like fire between us and the bike so that if it does drag us, we die. So then we had like 15 feet of propane fire just in case they did drag us to the ground.
Yeah.
But you know what we didn't realize is that when you hold a bike, the rubber off the bike's tire starts superheating and flies back in your face while you're holding the bike in it. And chunks of asphalt that heat up because you're holding the bike there while it's spinning, that hits you in the face too. Turns
It's
out
like
the whole
lava.
bike thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure. Yeah, that's horrible. I know you got to get going. Orbax is now. It's like we're at the half past, so I know you got to get going to do the other thing. I do appreciate you coming through. Me and Pepper will keep this stuff going on as much as we can. We're just going to talk shit about you while you're gone. So
this whole lockdown's been terrible for me, and stuff like this really means a lot. I love you, Geoff.
Love you too, my friend.
It's nice to see you, and it's amazing. Pepper, it really lifted my spirits to see you the other day, and that meant a lot to me.
I know. It's been way too long, buddy.
Yeah. So you guys have a good time, and take care. And everybody out there who's watching and who's stuck and in whatever circumstances you are, all I can offer you is the hope that things will get better. Trust in science. We're going to be able to beat this thing. But, you know, Pepper and I are always around. If there's any of you watching who know us or are fans or we don't know you and you want to reach out, we're always happy to talk to people and just spread that positivity. So I know I've been busting balls, and I mean, I'm not saying that Geoff doesn't deserve it, because he does. Like, look at the fucking guy. But at the same time, feel free, if you're a fan or a friend or anybody, just to always feel free to reach out to either of us. So,
Hey, Orbex, before you leave, put that dope hat in. Let's get a good shot here. All three dope hats. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Eat it, those guys that didn't buy dope hats. All
right, guys, I gotta go. I'm gonna, I guess let's take the elevator down. See ya.
Alrighty.
What a showman, eh?
Yeah.
God, he's finally gone. Thank God.
God damn it. He's been holding you back for years. Oh, hey, Orbex, what's going on?
Bye,
buddy. Love you, Orbex.
Oh, I got to assign a host. Pepper, you're the host now.
Oh, I'm the host. Sorry, I think I slipped out. So yeah, that's no worries. Hey,
you are now the host.
I'm gonna fix that 1 second.
The pressure.
At least I think I can. Or you can assign me one of the two.
And then there were two.
And there were two, yeah. So yeah, because Orbex came in before you did. So how you doing, man? You're maintaining, because you're out in like what, Niagara Falls area, is that correct?
I am. I'm Niagara Falls proper. I'm like a 10-15 minute walk right from the falls itself.
Just on the other side of the border from us.
Yeah, so I'm right in the heart of the all the fun, as they say in the city. But things are weird. It's an odd time, and it's weird for me because I got my dual a couple of years ago, and I'm literally like, if I look out the window, I can see the casino in the States. I'm that close to the States.
Oh, wow!
Like I'm completely locked down.
Yeah.
And I'm dying for stuff to get back to some sort of sense of normal, so we can come down again and just want to entertain people. Sitting around, and it's funny, between Orbex and myself, we did so much work on our houses over the last couple of months and trying to do everything, but once that's done, what do you do?
That's why, like, I live in an apartment, so there's only so much I can do here anyways. I reorganized my living room, and then I had a friend of mine go, "Hey, I'm starting this Twitch channel. Do you want to do a show on there?" And I go, "Yeah, sure." And that's when I started doing the Devil's Hour. And they go, "Hey, we need to fill more content." I go, "All right, cool. I'll do this talk show." And then that's where we're at now. And basically, it's all an excuse for me just to talk to people I haven't talked to in forever. That's really the idea. I go, "All right, cool. I want to talk to these people anyways." It gives me an excuse to talk to them. And maybe we can get some content, and hopefully, because we're former friends, hopefully we'll get some eyes on their stuff, so that way it's all mutually beneficial.
Yeah, it's a funny thing that I didn't do too many, Skypes or Zooms or anything before this all started, because we were always on the road so much that I knew it's, we're in England, but we're going to be back in 6 months, blah, blah, blah. Here it's like, we have friends and family all over the world, it seems. And it's just, it's so nice. And we always knew we were going to see them. And this is the longest stretch that we haven't been on the road. And it's really weird, because it's probably going to be, I can't see us going anywhere for the rest of the year.
It's, if we see anything happening outside, you might see some stuff local-ish.
Yeah, that's it.
But like, nothing big, probably, at least. If we, my guess is probably the Hoot's probably going to be the next big thing we're probably going to end up doing.
More than likely, right?
Yeah.
And it's so strange. So this is so nice that this is happening. And, I started, my birthday was in April, so we had like a video chat. And it was and it's funny, because it seems like now I'm actually talking to people more than I ever did, because I took it for granted that I was going to see them in 6 months.
Yeah.
And now it's like, we take the time to be like, you check in and be like, hey, how you doing? And so it's kind of, if anything, it's going to make the community tighter and more of a family, I think.
I would agree with that. I think it's I had the Reverend Tommy Gunn last week, and we were kind of chatting about this. I don't remember if it was during the show or afterwards, but I said like in a lot of ways it's like for a long time, especially at least the sideshow community, everything was very regionalized for a long time, and then the Hoot was kind of the first attempt to really try to. Well, one of the bigger attempts to try to get beyond just the regions. And then I think with this thing happening with COVID, we're having to depend on going outside of the region if we want to survive and do stuff. And so that's me. I do the show because I like doing the shows because I like talking to people, and other stuff. Like you, I like promoting your stuff. So I don't care where you live, because the great thing about the internet, you can live anywhere and get popular anywhere. I think with this, like, because of COVID, those lines are even going to get more blurred as people are less dependent on that sort of stuff. And then once the world opens up again, we're just going to say next year just to be safe. There are going to be a lot of people can actually, when they have the ability to travel, are actually weirdly going to have to get to travel a lot more, because they're going to get known in places. They're known in places they've never been. And so I think that's really cool. And so I don't know. I like the fact is like, weirdly enough, is like I hate being stuck home alone all the time, but like this whole being stuck at home and doing this sort of stuff, I'm actually doing more.
Totally right. Before this, when I'd sit at home, it was just like me, the wife, the dog, and it was like I talked to Orbex. But now I'm like, there's more of this, and it's, if anything, it's like I'm almost more social when I'm home than I ever was.
Yeah.
And it is nice because, like, you're saying about regionally, it's being in Canada. Fuck me, for years there was like Ryan and Amber out west, Orbex and I here.
Ryan and Amber, who are Ryan and Amber for the people watching?
Oh, sorry, Ryan Stock and Amber Lynn Walker, okay. The Guinea Pig TV show. Jim Rose Circus.
Yeah. It's one of those, making sure that people are aware of who that is, because there's some people. Some people watch this who aren't sideshow people, so it's one of those, making sure they know who these names are. Or some people.
Ryan, I'm going to go ahead and say Ryan is the most talented person I've ever met in my life. Like, be it magic or sideshow or just anything, you can make something up and he can already do it. Like, he's just phenomenal. He's the most talented man in the world. It's crazy. Like,
I've heard tales. I've yet to meet the man. I'm sure I will at some point.
Oh yeah, they're both fantastic people. Like, just super nice, awesome, and just fucking so talented. The two of them is crazy. It's crazy. But like being in Canada, that was out for years. That was it. And when we started touring more, then it was to get little pockets here and there.
Yeah.
But the regional thing was really brutal up here because we're so far apart. Like, Canada's so vast. For, I don't know if you're watching this from the States or Europe or whatever, Canada is giant with very few people. So it's, you can drive 10 to 12 hours between gigs, which is insane. Like, there's nowhere else to play. There's like 4 or 5 major hubs and that's it. So the regional thing up here was just crazy. So to crack into any other market, like especially the States, to get the visa stuff, it's really hard. So we used to go to Europe all the time and the UK, just because it was, even though the States was literally right behind me, it was a harder market for us to crack.
Yeah.
But over the last couple of years, it's opened up, and it's nice to come down and finally, all the people that were at the Hoot last year, they were like, we're so excited to see you. It's like, finally, we felt the same. It's like, we can actually be in the same room with all these people that we watch online all the time and we admire. And it's so cool. And it's like meeting you guys, especially, it was that bond that immediately, that there's that kinship. That's like, fuck, you know what? Like, I love this guy. And you hit it off. And then the next year seeing you guys again, it was like, we were so happy that.
Oh, that was really cool. Like, because I met you when we met last year. I was going, all right, cool. We chatted for a bit and hung out for a bit, and now you're going, all right, cool. And then that was pretty much it, at least on my end. I don't know. And then when I met up with you guys this year, you guys are just like, oh my God, you're here. And I go, yeah, man, I'm here. What's so weird? And then you just wanted to hang out with me all week, and I go, cool.
We were so excited to see it.
I was so excited. Like me, I I was flabbergasted. So, see what Hot Todd Linking says. He was looking forward to seeing you guys again this past year, and he had a great time that first year you were there. So,
Indeed.
yeah. If you want, I mean, it's up to you, Pepper. I can probably, if you want, I can bring Todd on to make it easier if you want.
Oh, I'm up for anything. You know me.
That's true. Yeah. Orbax is the pickier one. Yeah, I know.
Now, can he fake a dope hat though? Can he like?
All right, so Todd, I'm gonna give you a minute to at least do a Sharpie with dope on your head real quick, and then I'm gonna put the Zoom link on the chat in general, and let people come on as they want. How about that?
That's exciting.
Yeah. I do it. I've done it sometimes. I did it with Todd once. Todd's been on the show, and so I just went, all right, cool. We'll just have everybody on.
But I cannot wait though to come back down, and especially I want to come to Texas so bad. I can't get out and do gigs again.
I actually literally after we talked, right when I got back from the Hoot, I started making a list of all the places that would be worthwhile, and I started like, all right, cool. Here's the contact info for you guys. Like basically, I was gonna do you still have to contact the places, but I was gonna give but I was gonna get all the contact info for you guys. But all right, here's the people you can talk to, and then then everything shut down, so I don't know what's open anymore. And so
not only can we not book, because when stuff started getting canceled on us, people like rebook. I'm like, what's the point? Because we don't know A, what's going to be open, or B, when it's going to be open.
Yeah, that's basically how it came down to. So I went, all right, I'm just gonna. I just can't
imagine though. We do like sideshow versus sideshow. Yeah. What an absolute hilarious shit show that would be, and it'd just be so fun to hang out with you guys. And
I don't know, like in my end, I basically just talk and do a couple of dumb tricks, and then basically tell people to buy drinks. That's my shtick.
You've seen it, right?
that's what I do. I go, here's my 2 things you do well, and then there we go. There's a Todd. That's amazing. There we go. Hot Todd Lincoln, everybody.
Well, you're Captain Dope Hat.
I know, right? It's
fuck you, Tom Wall and Nathan Mascari.
Cheers. A little bit of a DIY version, but we'll
hey,
that's super fun.
You just pretend to be Louis for this, okay? Okay, Todd. Because Louis traveling.
Is it because I'm yet another minority? Is that what you're doing?
Well, yes, that's exactly what it is.
True story. No, Stefan and Louis and Sally and myself all went out to breakfast at the Hoot one point. At the Hoot we went to a brunch, and we were waiting, and it was like Stefan and Sally and I were standing there, and we looked at Louis, and it's like, 3 Jews here. And we looked at Louis, and he's like, how does it feel to be a minority? And he was like. He was like, yeah, like I've never experienced that. It's like, well, of course you have.
But... Good work. Just good work.
There we go.
It's funny. Geoff was basically like, oh, yeah, tell him, go ahead and do a Sharpie. And I was like, how the fuck did he know? Like, because I was already like, if I'm going in, I'm going to do the thing.
Mentalist. Yeah. That's my shtick. Literally, that's.
Yeah, you can tell how long it's been since I've seen that Pepper, because I'm gaining on him in terms of beard.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's got those crazy goat chops, though,
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, during this writers meeting, like there was a DC comedy writers group that I'm a part of, and it was like one of these exercises was like, it's like, because of, it's like, if this, then that, like, fill in the blanks. And it's like, if I were a Hasidic man, I wouldn't be nearly as excited about my quarantine beard, was the way to go. But it's getting kind of like Amish gone wild lately, but, what are you going to do?
Just got to shave that mustache. You'll really have that rocking.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You just shave the mustache.
Looks good, though.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it's like when
I was trying to get you to talk about the hassling of the monsters, classic monsters at that first Hoot.
Oh yeah.
I think I told you the story, Geoff. Yeah.
I don't know. Let's see
I
how the
was super
story
nervous,
starts.
right? Because this was the first time I was in the main show, right? I had already done like the VIP, like early part of the show, but then like I'm in the main show, and it was complicated because like there'd been some confusion about what acts I was going to do versus somebody else that did.
Oh yeah, I knew about that stuff. Yes, because
same show. So there was a little bit of like, I don't know how this is going to go, because like doing it, like knowing that you're going to be doing some of the same stuff in a show is always a little dicey, right? Like how it's presentation, like you guys are saying, but we'll see how it goes, right? So, it's one of those where it's like I'm in my head about it, and so I go to check my props like 15 to 18 times every 5 minutes, like just. And at one point, I'm working my way, and as you've been into that backstage area as well, it's not big, and even that side where all the vendors are, not huge. And I'm making a beeline to go over there, and not a straight line, because I'm not going to mention any names, but their initials are Pepper and Orbox, are doing the crisscross, and I'm so in my head about that.
Oh, that's right.
I'm apologizing profusely because I'm sure I'm the one in their way, having no idea that they are officially fucking with me, right? And so like I'm going back and forth, and they apologized later. They're like, because Canadian, but they're like, dude, we are so sorry. Like, you were clearly in your head, and we're sorry that we were. And I was like, oh shit, no, I really had no idea. Like, I was so like focused on the thing, but then like after it was done, it was like, okay, got an eye on you. And it wasn't that. Didn't I lift you and move you at some point, Pepper? Didn't like you?
Yes, but you know what though? That being said, even though we got in your head and all, you went out and did. There were very similar things, back-to-back acts, but done in totally different style, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
What we thought we were going to come down, honestly, the first time it's like, okay, we're going to the Hoot. It's just going to be blockhead, 2 hours blockhead. We had no idea what we were getting into because we've seen that before. We've gone to festivals and it's
without a doubt.
For a Busker Fest, and there's 4 pitches, and everybody's doing blockhead, and it's like,
well, and that was the thing. Like I think sometimes it's like to know yourself, right? So like know yourself, and then if you really know what you're about, then you have really all the information that you need. I mean, obviously learn the skills and learn them well and be safe about them. But if you know yourself, then that's really the best version of what you're going to be able to put out there.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm not going to be the strongest guy out there. I mean, I'm getting stronger, but I'm also like I don't want to dedicate the time off work, like not working, and just live at a gym. And I don't want to, turn this way to get through doorways. Like I have no interest in being that guy.
And you know what? It's always more impressive though if you're not that guy and you can do the strongman feats, because you come out a giant jack guy. It's like, okay, this guy.
Of course he can.
Right.
Rebar.
It's like
sure.
how badly, like how much is he going to mess that thing up, right? And that's like, and I've actually lost. Probably since I've seen you, I've lost 41 pounds. Yeah, well, I had a whole diabetes issue that was like, you need to change your diet, or Wilford Brimley himself is going to stick a needle in your ass. And I was like, as much as I would like to meet Wilford Brimley, that's not the way I want to do it. So I changed it around, and
oddly, that's the only way I want to meet him. So it's
fair.
This is where you type the thing, and then like that little GIF would come up, "No lies detected," where they're showing the lie detector. But
all I want to do is like quote like cocoon quotes as he's like sticking the needle in you.
Yeah,
never getting older, never gonna die.
Well, that's I mean with his diabetes addled state, that's all he can really remember at this point. But yeah, you're absolutely right. So like, I mean, I wasn't going to go out and do Reed stuff. Like that didn't make sense because I'm not Reed, and Reed wasn't going to do my stuff. Although, and this is
I do not know who this person you speak of.
Yeah, well, this is another Twitch exclusive. But part of the reason I did the act the way that I did was like that there was a little less cooperation than I would have liked in terms of like, hey, we do 8 feats, like there are 8 strongman feats or whatever it is. Let's split them up so that the good people have like a wide array of what we do. And I was told that like no, these are all in tandem. Like they can't be separated.
This comes down to like we had that conversation a little bit ago about the YouTube stars and stuff like that. You can only do the 4-minute bits because that's the only way they know how to do this stuff.
Yeah, so,
that's kind of the same thing right there.
I changed my opening. I added an opening that basically was a kind of an homage, if you will, to the way that he was opening the show. Because if we're not allowed to do, if we're going to do the same things, then we're going to do the same things. So that's why I decided to come out strapped to a hand truck, much to the chagrin of Reggie and Katie and Catherine, where it's like, no, he's ready. And then the host was like, misunderstood that this, she thought was this. And so I literally can't do anything. I'm on the hand truck, blindfolded, with a pillowcase over my head. And they're like, yeah, and again, this would have been better now that I'd lost 41 pounds because, like, right?
I think it was Devereaux Dollface who had to wheel you. Devereaux and Katie had to wheel you out.
Oh yeah, and Reggie was part of that.
Oh, Reggie, I know, they were the three.
Yeah, all three of them, because like they didn't want me to fall on my ass, and then Reggie, so it was like a whole thing. But yeah, I mean that was born out of, it's like, all right, well I'll see the way you're opening the show, and I'll raise it a scotch, because one of the things, like the arm shackles, when you break the chain with the arm shackles, they're not shackles. I'm sorry, they're arm cuffs, right? They're really not. It's like if you walk out on stage like this, no one's going to believe that you're trapped, because you just drop your arms and you're out. And they're teardrop shaped. They're not like, you're not a heroin addict at that point, leaving stuff in Klopek's yard. See? Yeah, see?
Junkies.
Yeah. It's not like I pay attention or anything. But anyway, but it's like, so it's like when if someone walks out and they're like, oh, I'm trapped, it already starts to like break down the believability. So I did that where I was in those shackles, but also in a straitjacket, blindfolded with a pillowcase over my head. So I was like legitimately in a fix that I had to get out of. It's like that. I mean, but that's the way my brain works. And it's like, that's what I was saying. Like if you stay in your own brain and you got all the material you need to sort of mine it.
And my first the time down to the Who, I think I enjoyed it a lot because the thing for me, it's like people always ask, like, how do you come up with your characters? I'm like, well, these aren't characters. It's just, it's just us. Like, I've been in bands 25 years and I was Pepper Klopek in the band. So it's just Pepper Klopek and Sideshow.
Sure.
And I think anything when people try to come up with a gimmick, it's like, oh, I'm going to, I get this wicked face paint, so I'm going to create a character around that. If that's not you inherently, like, just whatever is your inside of you, let that out. Don't try to create something that's not you, because then it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It can work, but it doesn't make it. If you just walk out on stage as yourself, even though I don't care what you're fucking, you could be like Johnny Grayface or Johnny Stupid Face or whatever.
Johnny Grayface. It's just
the extension of who you actually are, and that character is just it's really you, maybe with a crazy hairdo. That's if you try to totally change it and try to become that character instead of you being you, then that's where the breakdown happens. So that's why I think because that first year, because that's genuinely people going out to entertain that aren't worried about trying to create this mystique. It's like, I just want to go and entertain people, because the reason we do what we do, and people are, if they don't get it, like, you go hurt yourself, why do you do it? I'm like, the reason is we've been doing this a long time, and especially the last couple of years, like, the world's pretty awful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And we want to go out, and it doesn't matter what your religion is, what your gender is, what your sexuality is, what you're like, none of that matters. You come to our show for an hour, 90 minutes, we're going to make you laugh. It's just going to be a good time. And even if you go in kind of like, by the end of it, you're going to be like, and that's
exactly.
Like, we've had whatever you name it, they come to the shows, and at the end there's families come up, and I'm covered in blood holding like a baby for a picture with a family, and it's like, okay, that's pretty awesome.
I had a really funny photo op today, as a matter of fact. Like, again, not performing, right? I mean, I'm doing stuff like, these Zoom shows, or I've been putting out my videos that I've been making, my like 1 minute COVID capers, Hot Todd Lincoln's COVID capers, where they're silly. Like, and Geoff, I have 2, by the way, that I'm going to send to you for
That's right. Yeah, he's going to be on this coming Wednesday at the Devil's Hour.
Yeah, I'm going to premiere a couple of them. But nonetheless, it's like, sometimes situationally things just fall in your lap. Like this guy Jamal, who's an exterminator, this company who's like does stuff in my house, right? But he came out today, and it's obviously he's gonna walk around and he's gonna see like the piles of torn playing cards, and then think, okay, either this guy is like really manic, or there's a story here, or he's gonna see like the bent bolts and the horseshoes and the hearts, and he's like, you're obviously up to something, and like, what's your story? And so I was like, oh, well, have you ever seen my mousetrap magic trick? And he was like, I have not. So I showed him the thing where I do the, try to find his card. I can't, and then the mousetrap's involved and all that. But then I realized, like, as he was getting ready to leave, I was like, so I had the mousetrap on my tongue. I'm holding his card, and he's in the picture going, and it's great. It's like the best picture of like what's going on right now, because it's like, man, we're all so jonesing to like connect in that way or to entertain, and it's like, and apparently what was kind of funny is like I didn't think about it, but like with some of the other texts that have come out, he was like, oh yeah, no, we were talking about you the other day, because I guess like they saw that my name was on the schedule, you know, like, and they're like, oh yeah, we were talking about you, and Andre was talking about all the crazy shit you do, and it was like, that's cool. I'm glad that like I make it entertaining for those guys to come out and like spray for mice and bugs, you know.
It feels good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's one of those things too. It's like my biggest beef with all of the entertainment, be it bands or magic or anything else. When I watch somebody, you can tell if there's an issue where it's just like, I don't want to say daddy issue, but I don't know what to call it, but it's like just that need for any attention, good or bad or whatever, or there's someone who's genuinely an entertainer.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because I just love entertaining. Like it just, I started in bands when I was really young, and it just, I love that. And there's nothing better for me than Orvax and I going on the stage and just killing that room. But then when that's done, I'm good to go. I'm just like, I can sit in the corner. I don't care. Like, but when there's just that, you know, people are just like, oh, it's like, I'm the guy that walks in the bar and puts a fork in his nose. It's like, okay, then you're the guy at the bar with a fork in your nose. You're not an entertainer. And when that crosses over into entertainment, and it just, that desperation I see sometimes really.
Well, I would see sometimes in the burlesque world, like those that wanted to be seen as being pretty, as opposed to like be willing to do like the gritty, stupid, you know, make themselves ugly for the entertainment, right? Like there's that whole thing.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, no, the connection is key. Like, and I think that's where it becomes easier. Like, I think you and I connected that first year. Like, we
totally,
hit it off, and it was like, because we got it, right? Like, and then like there wasn't like when you both apologized, and it was like they're like, man, you apologized to us so much. I thought they were thinking I was Canadian for a minute, you know, and I think I made Mr. Klopek there cry a little bit with my response when I said something like, oh, but I didn't really know my biological father. It makes me Saskatchewander. And it was just like, it works. And then they're like, well, and then they both agreed that, yeah, well, maybe the worst thing about that is actually Saskatchewan is a terrible place. Like that was the takeaway. But yeah, like we got it, and it was like, it never felt like, you know, it's like, oh, the Monsters of Schlock, or it's like, oh, get away from me, Todd, whatever you are. Like, they're like, it's an immediate A, kinship, and B, like we were both like, we're all just sort of hanging out at that point.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't like, look what I can do. Like I didn't like whip out a bunch of nails and start bending them just because I could.
Yeah, that's always so strange when that happens. It's like,
we're gonna keep like, all right. So this is the end of the show.
Oh, gee, sorry.
Yeah, but we're gonna hang out after this is done. Thanks the Monsters of Schlock coming on and being part of like Pepper right here is where part of the show. Go to all of your favorite podcast sites to download the Obrax and Pepper Do a Podcast. Go to YouTube's, go to monsterschlock.com, see all the great stuff. They are amazing, and they're really, really great people. Also, the Orbax and Pepper Do Science is also a lot of fun. They hung out with Bill Nye. So, but anyway, you guys have a good night. Everybody, and be safe. And we'll see you soon. I will not have a G-Spot next week because that is our holiday, which is July 4th. I may do like a best of or something like that. But the Devil's Hour this coming week on Wednesday, it's going to have Hot Todd Lincoln. We're going to have Freak Show Deluxe. We're going to have a band from India called Bloody Wood, who are fucking phenomenal. And like I discovered them, and I'd like reach out to them so quick. I was going to do a different band, and I saw the thing about them. I went, can I do this? And they go, yeah, sure, whatever. Horrible accent, I apologize. And then a really good band from Houston, Texas called Krung Band, which is going to be a really great show. And then we'll catch you then. And then maybe we might have some more Schlock stuff coming around at some point and stuff like that. Anyway, you guys be safe and lovely. Here's the closing credits. I think there's something coming on after. I don't know. So be safe.